Damn, dude. Maybe I should just go your route and just go completely Chrome Dome. Whenever I start talking about my hair,
a lot of trouble.
probably. Whenever I start talking about the hair, you know that the haircut is on the way soon. Hello, Jacksonites, and welcome to a very, very, very special video that I've been wanting to do for a long time. And now that I've finally seen all of these movies, my dream can finally come true. Today with Jeff Welch of Bakersfield Self-Preservation?
Bakersfield Self-Perfection, Self-Preservation.
There it is. Rolls right off your tongue. He and I will be doing a 31 on 31 video. Kind of. I realize this is not on Halloween. Halloween is in the buttfuck middle of my work week. So this is as good as it's going to get. So retroactively, you can just watch this movie on Halloween. Did you see the trailer for Resident Evil Raccoon City? I've seen parts of it. It looks promising. I'm excited for that. I'm a pretty big Resident Evil fan. Wink, wink. So yeah, this is the best that I can do. Me and Jeff today will be ranking the Friday the 13th series, the Nightmare on Elm Street series, and the Halloween series, minus Halloween Kills. I still have not seen it. Probably won't see it until it comes out on DVD because, you know, parenthood, it's hard to get a sitter. And in general, if I was to ever do another Halloween list, I would not be including Halloween Kills until Halloween Ends comes out. Just like how I'm not going to do another re-ranking of the Godzilla franchise until Godzilla vs. Kong comes out. And it has come out, so now I'm all free to do that. But that's beside the point. So Halloween Kills will not be included. Halloween 2018 will be included. And yeah, from worst to best, all 31 movies in one giant-ass list. And guess what, guys?
How can you have all 31 movies? How can you have all 31 movies if Halloween Kills isn't on there? Because I went over the list, and yeah, I put Halloween Kills in this list.
Well, if you want to include Halloween Kills, then by all means, go right ahead. I haven't included it because I haven't seen it.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, from worst to best. And guess what, guys? Almost half of all of these movies I don't even like. So this should be interesting. It ranges from the first 10 or so, which are the bad ones, and then the next 10 or so, which are the decent ones, and then, of course, there's the good ones. So, and knowing me, this list will be very different from everybody else's list. So if you stumble across this and your favorite movie is not number one, do not take it like a Star Wars fan. Despite the fact that both Friday the 13th and Halloween fan bases fucking suck. So I may as well just be painting a target on my face for this. Regardless, don't take it like a Star Wars fan. Grow a dick and be civil. And yes, of course, I am dressed for the occasion. I almost put on my Nightmare on Elm Street shirt, but decided this one would be better. Since Halloween is probably my favorite of all these three franchises. So, Jeff, since you're my guest, what might be the worst of all three of these be for you? I have a couple of guesses, but enlighten me.
Okay, 30 and 31 are put in together.
Uh-oh.
Honestly, I'm going to put 30 and 31 together. And it is the Halloween Rob Zombie remake of Halloween 1 and 2. That was nothing more than a big fuck you to all the fans of the Halloween series. It is the worst. My God, Rob Zombie, please do us a favor. Stick to music. get the hell away from directing horror movies. And please, if you are going to direct any more horror movies, quit casting your goddamn wife for these movies.
Don't watch his new Munsters movie coming out.
That's what I was getting to. It's bad enough you fucked up Halloween. Now you're going to fuck up the Monsters. Thanks a lot.
Which I've never watched the Munsters.
Asshole. I like that show. I grew up with that show. So that's what kind of pisses me off about that one. I already know Rob Zombie's going to screw that one up.
Well, I'm surprised. Not that surprised, but I was expecting something else.
What were you expecting?
Oh, you'll find out when we get to it. So, in my opinion, well, first, hopefully, if the word from our sponsor is willing to be spoken without spewing all over me, to your good health. In my opinion, the absolute worst of all three of these franchises combined, Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. God damn, is this a piece of garbage-ass movie? It's boring. It's boring. It's dull. It's tame. It's generic. It's slow. It's 20 minutes too long. And it's censored. My God, is this the worst case of blue balls kills in any slasher movie I've ever fucking seen? Teleporting ass Jason. Boring censored kills. Generic boring ass characters. Nonsensical story. Underutilization of New York City. A terrible looking unmasked Jason. It's slow. It's dull. Generic characters. And above all else, it's boring. The worst sin a movie can commit is if it's boring. And my God, this has got to be one of the top 20 at least most boring movies, horror or otherwise, I've ever fucking seen. My God. Fuck this movie in every which way, shape, and form. I have nothing good to say about this movie whatsoever. Moving on.
Okay, well, what's your number 30?
No, you can go
I already
next.
said my 30 and 31.
All right.
Okay, well, for me...
No, go ahead.
29. Number 29 is the Friday the 13th remake.
This is what I was thinking was at the bottom.
Yeah. Well, this is definitely not another giant fuck you to the fans, a giant middle finger saying, screw you guys, if you like the original Friday the 13th, we're going to make it shitty. And boy, did they make it shitty. I mean, I kind of feel like, where are they going with this? I don't remember Jason ever taking a hostage or kidnapping someone and leaving them alive. I don't remember Jason ever using someone as bait, like he did with that one kid after he threw the axe at him and waiting for someone to come rescue him. I think Jason even ran a couple of times in this movie, which Jason doesn't run.
Yeah, he does. Plenty of times in the first 4 movies.
I thought he just walks fast. But no, like
he runs.
The remakes were this remake is just horrible, honestly. The mask looked ugly. And oh my God. It was supposed to be some sort of emotional Jason or something like that. Like, what? Jason has no emotions. The characters, oh my God, the characters were horrible as well. Like, none of them I can really give a rat's ass about. Fuck that movie.
My number 30. And honestly, both of these movies could be interchangeable, but I like the music at least. My number 30 is the original Halloween from 1978. Fuck
Oh boy.
this movie. My opinion has not changed in the slightest. It's boring, dull, too damn dark, tame, slow, bad acting, boring characters, lame kills. The one thing about this movie that I like is the music score. John Carpenter is a very good music composer. Strong credit where credit is due for that. But outside of that, the original Halloween doesn't do a damn thing for me except make me lose faith in the horror movie fan base because of how, for some reason, beloved this movie is. Moving on.
For me, number 28, Halloween 3.
Really?
Which, yes. Because honestly, I feel like this did not belong in the Halloween saga. This is, I don't know how you put it, but this was meant to be something else. That's what it feels like. This was not meant to be a Halloween movie. This was meant to be something else. But John Carpenter just got lazy. Couldn't think of a neat, decent name. He was like, oh, just go ahead and put the Halloween name on it and call it Halloween 3, even though it has nothing to do with Michael Myers whatsoever. Like, way to go, John, you lazy son of a bitch. Couldn't you have actually tried to think of a title for this movie instead of putting the Halloween name on it? I mean, if this was some other movie, this probably wouldn't have got the hate that it has gotten from Halloween fans. I feel that way. But because they put the Halloween name in it, it is one of the most hated movies among Halloween's fans of the saga.
Well, it's more hit or miss nowadays, but for a long time, yes, it was that way. My number 29 is the original Friday the 13th. Suffers from a lot of the same problems as the original Halloween. It's boring, it's dull, it's slow, it's tame. It does have a decent ominous atmosphere. What we do see of the kills is gnarly and gory enough, like the arrow through Kevin Bacon's neck. Of course, that always makes you cringe.
Yep.
And the ending jump scare certainly is effective, but outside of that, it may as well be the original Halloween. It's like what some people have said about the film. It's basically just Sean S. Cunningham trying to make a Halloween movie. And that's true. While also ripping off Psycho at the same time. Don't like the original Friday the 13th. Yeah. It's just not my bag. And not to mention, hate to say this, but I'd rather watch a Friday the 13th movie with Jason Voorhees.
Yeah, fair enough.
Next.
For me, number 27, Jason X. Or as I call it, Jason versus Star Trek.
Or Jason versus, Friday the 13th versus Lord Zed. Or something along those lines.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I didn't like it. Is the fact that after that one android chick kills Jason, he comes back as this cyborg Jason, where he looks like Lord Zed from the Power Rangers. That was definitely one of my griefs on this one. I mean, I did enjoy a lot of the kills in the movie, I will say that, but it just seemed to go by pretty fast for me.
The Sub-Zero kill.
Movie. Yeah.
That everybody talks about.
Yeah. I didn't like it at all. I didn't like its ending. I didn't like a lot of the way it began, just I kind of feel like they just ran out of things to do for Jason, and this decided, let's put him in a sci-fi movie.
It looks like one.
They should have just ended it. They should have just ended it at Jason Goes to Hell. This should have been the end of the Jason saga, and leave it at that. But no, let's do Jason X. So we see if people are still fans of Jason, and hopefully give the fans Freddy versus Jason like they've been wanting. They should have just gave the fans Freddy versus Jason and not do Jason X.
Well, what happened.
Unfortunately.
My number 28, Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. I'm compiling both cuts because ultimately, no matter which way you cut it, this movie sucks. It's a total incomprehensible mess. Its performances are just all over the place. It muddles and overly complicates the Halloween mythos. It turns Michael Myers from a mysterious, spooky boogeyman into an overindulged, overexplained, pussified, non-threatening blob. I will say I do prefer the theatrical version. It does explain less than the producer's cut. It's still overly complicated, but it's not as overly complicated. And at least it is more entertaining than the producer's cut. But again, no matter what way you cut it, this movie was just a total misfire. Almost nothing works about the movie. It does have a couple good kills. It's got some good gore. And the theatrical cut is the more entertaining of the two. But just overall, this movie sucks.
Oh, boy. Well, for me, my number 25, or number 26, is A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2.
Really?
Yes. I think this is like the worst Nightmare on Elm Street out of the whole saga. And it's a lot of the bad acting. The protagonist was god-awful and cringy as hell. Is like, I just cringe every time I see the protagonist. I'm like, oh my god, this guy.
Who, Jesse?
The hell is he? Yeah.
Or what was it? Oh,
yeah,
Mark Patton.
Yeah, and then also Freddy. And where Freddy's mainly supposed to be in the dream world. Now he's doing shit in the real world kind of thing. And he comes out into the real world through Jesse. And I'm like, no, keep it where Freddy kills you in your dream in the dream world. Don't, whatever the hell this was. Or Freddy was possessing Jesse or something like that. I didn't like that.
Well, this one will surprise you where it is on my list. But speaking of Nightmare on Elm Street, my number 27 is A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, The Dream Child. A lot of the same issues as Halloween 6. It's a total mess. It's nearly incomprehensible. There's no through line. It turns Freddy into an annoying, one-line spewing jokester that is not threatening in the slightest. Damn, I actually think I should have put Halloween 6 over this. Because unlike Halloween 6, Nightmare on Elm Street doesn't have any good kills at all. Only 3 kills over the span of 90 minutes. Actually, yeah, I really should have. So actually, let me rephrase that. Number 28 is Nightmare on Elm Street 5, and number 27 is Halloween 6. But to wrap up on Nightmare on Elm Street 5, the biggest sin this one commits as well, it's boring. It's not entertaining.
Yeah.
It's not engaging. It feels like a total ripoff of Nightmare on Elm Street 4, just less. And it also feels rushed. Because it came out like 6 months after Nightmare on Elm Street 4. 1989, again, was the worst fucking year of all 3 horror franchises. You had Friday the 13th Part 8, you had Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, and you had Halloween 5. Though Halloween 5 is a better movie than both of these movies combined, but that movie still is kind of crappy too. But yeah, part 5 sucks. Next.
Speaking of which,
uh-oh,
my number 25 is Halloween 5.
Oh boy, what a surprise! Everybody hates this movie.
I mean, come on. Why did they have to make this? All
Lenny,
honesty.
They were drunk off their asses
Yeah.
from Halloween 4.
I don't know. I didn't like how they continued it on from part 4, bringing back Jamie, even though Danielle Harris is fucking hot now. Have you seen her lately? How she looks? She's fucking hot.
The last movie I saw her in was Hatchet 2.
Oh, God. But no, despite that, though,
that sucks.
I cannot stand. Yeah, she has a habit of playing in a lot of shitty horror movies. Urban Legend was okay, but See No Evil 2, horrible. Hatchet 2, horrible.
What about 3?
Rob Zombie's Halloween movies. I have been fortunate enough to not see part 3, and I would like it to keep it that way.
Yeah, I've only seen the first 2 Hatchets myself. The first one was okay, but then the second one was like, I'm good. This series can just stay where it is.
I used to do horror movie reviews on MySpace back in the day. And a lot of people liked my reviews and everything. And the people from Hatchet actually reached out to me to say, hey, we want you to check this movie out and give it a review, see how you like it. I told them, if I think it sucks, you're not going to like my review because I'm brutally honest. They tried to have my blog taken down.
Yeah, Hatchet fans are assholes. Yeah. I've noticed the Hatchet community are a bunch of entitled assholes.
No. This wasn't the community. This was the actual director of the film. Yeah. He did not like it, what I had to say.
Adam Green, right?
Yep. Yeah, by the way, if you're watching this, Adam, fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you. Back to Halloween 5.
Yeah, Halloween 5. I think what pissed me off about this movie was the ending. Because you know how like this movie had this mysterious character coming, you see him, but you don't see his face. You're just seeing his boots. And then apparently he shoots up a police station and breaks out Michael Myers, and that's how the movie ends. And we're like, what the fuck is this shit?
Super sequel bait.
Exactly. This was to bait people in for Halloween 6. Which
look how that turned out.
Like, yeah, I don't think they were really paid attention to the 5th one. They were just went off into their own thing, and I don't know.
My number 26 is Friday the 13th, Part 2. Suffers from all the same problems as its predecessor. It's boring, it's dull, it's tame, it's censored, it's slow. It does have slightly better kills than its predecessor. And yes, this is the introduction of Jason. Probably one of my least favorite versions of Jason. Actually, no, probably is my least favorite version of Jason of the whole series. And man, is it ripping off Halloween. And it's also a massive carbon copy of its predecessor. Saving grace is the last 20 minutes or so are somewhat entertaining, but overall, I don't have that much good to say about this movie. Next.
For my number 24, A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, The Dream Child.
Oh, boy.
Why?
Yeah, why?
Why did they continue on with this shit? Honestly, like, I don't know how to really describe how bad this movie was. This is actually a good movie if you want to fall asleep to it. Like much like the Resident Evil movies by Paul W.S. Anderson. Those movies put me in a coma every time. But yeah, this movie will put you in a coma. It's just so bad. Especially like Super Freddy. That one really kind of pissed me off. What else was there that was just so stupid? A lot of it was stupid. The whole concept of Freddy being reborn through the child.
What?
Yeah.
Babies don't really
That was the whole-
dream. At least they don't dream how this movie thinks they dream.
I don't know, man. Yeah, that was the whole concept. Freddy was supposedly wanting to possess the child to be reborn through that child. That was the whole purpose of the movie. And then they had to find Amanda Kruger to stop him, or it was so stupid. I mean, I did like the idea of its beginning, where it shows how Amanda Kruger ended up being raped by 1,000 maniacs when they were doing counts, and they accidentally left her in there.
One of them played by Robert Englund.
Yep. But other than that, no, there is nothing really redeemable about this movie. It's one of those movies like it was a cash grab.
Yeah.
Pure and simple.
My number 25 is Nightmare on Elm Street 6. Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. Man, what a whimper to end your series on. If this was supposed to be the last Nightmare on Elm Street movie, oh, this would have been a terrible series finale. Thankfully, the franchise's creators saw what a mess this franchise had become and fixed it, but damn, this movie can be enjoyed somewhat. I think this is really when we're transitioning into the movies that aren't bad. Well, no, this is the last of the bad movies, but damn, this movie is just a fucking mess. There's so much shit that's thrown on screen, and it just comes off like the producers were riding on the franchise's popularity and just thinking, oh, here, this'll work, this'll work, this'll work, this'll work, this'll work, and this'll work. And there was just too many cooks in the kitchen. It's an overblown, overfilled, overly done script. Boring kills, boring characters. Comes off as a bit of a ripoff or retread of Nightmare Part 3. It's not gory. Well, it has a couple decent gory kills, but the big thing that really kills this movie is its tone. Say it with me now, Eric Harrison. It's Looney Tunes on Elm Street. And my God, this movie is just a mess.
Yeah.
I will say, though, like I said, this movie can somewhat be enjoyed in like a so bad it's good type way, as like a movie that you can just sit back and just be in awe at, like, how did these filmmakers think this was a good idea, and just laugh at how bad it is.
I think a lot of it has to do with drug use.
More than likely.
Yeah, I think they were licking some hallucinogenic toads.
Moving on.
Or else, yeah. For my number 23, Halloween Resurrection.
Oh dear, you're gonna be shocked where this is on my list.
To me, this was like, I don't know how to put it. When I thought that Halloween H2O, Halloween water, whatever you want
Let's
to call
call it H2O.
Yeah, Halloween H2O. I thought that was going to be the end of the series.
So did everybody.
And then they decided to make they made the Resurrection film, which I don't know why they call it Resurrection, because Michael never truly died. Because you find out that wasn't Michael that died at the end of Halloween Water. It was actually an ambulance driver that Michael Myers crushed his larynx so he couldn't talk.
You can still make sound. You're not completely mute.
I know it.
But whatever. I'll talk about that more when I get to Resurrection. Oh, man.
Yeah. So yeah, Michael Myers goes after Jamie Lee Curtis yet again in this movie. Finally kills his sister after all this time.
23 years.
And then comes back to his home where some people decided to make a reality TV show out of it. And then you have this kid, Deckard, who's been talking to Sarah. And it kind of just reminds me of a video game for the Sega CD back in the day. I don't know if you ever played this game or if you ever heard of it. Correctamundo, my friend.
Never played it. I've just watched Angry Video Game Nerd.
Oh, yeah. I've seen playthroughs of this game. I played it back in the day. This was a horrible game with really bad acting back in the day. And that's what this movie reminded me of. It actually reminded me of the game Night Trap, which I'm like, oh, please don't let this bring back this game. Sure enough, it did. So that's kind of the reason why I have this so low on my list as well. Thanks for bringing back a horrible game that I hated.
My number 24, this is a really controversial pick. Well, I mean, I've already painted myself controversial. Friday the 13th, Part 4, the not-so-final chapter. I really wasn't impressed. This one is blown to the highest standards of the Friday the 13th series. Everybody says, if you're going to watch one, watch Part 4. I'd rather watch another one because I just really wasn't impressed. For me, at least, it just comes off like Paramount was definitely in the if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality in a very bad way with this film, because this movie is very... If you've seen the first 3 movies, Part 4 is the exact same film. It does come off as a ripoff of Friday the 13th Part 3. Once again, censored kills. A very overrated performance as Jason by Ted White. A very annoying and very cringeworthy performance by a young Corey Feldman. To me, there's just really nothing noteworthy about this movie. It's not a bad movie by any means, but in the Friday the 13th pantheon, this one is just a Friday the 13th movie. If it wasn't for the final chapter subtitle that is so hilariously untrue nowadays, I don't really think this movie would be as highly regarded. It's just meh.
True.
Go ahead. Lay it on me.
Well, actually, before I begin, one more thing about Halloween Resurrection I think I hated is the fact that Michael Myers got his ass kicked by Busta Rhymes.
At least it's funny.
Anyways, for my number 22, Freddy's dead. Oh, God.
I was expecting this one.
This was a bad movie, honestly.
It's bad.
There's some parts where you can still kind of enjoy it in some ways. And I really think they were on LSD when they thought of some of the stuff in that movie, like putting that one kid in the video game.
Which is weird because Spencer's smoking weed, not doing LSD. But whatever.
Yeah,
he must have had some really good hooch.
Directors. I'm talking about the writers of the movie.
I know.
High on LSD,
but just in the context of the movie, he must have had some really strong ass hooch.
Maybe he should have done an edible. That I could see an edible doing that to you.
Sure, but I don't think those were a thing back in the 90s.
No, I don't think so either. Too bad.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. Freddy's dead. There's some enjoyable factors into the movie where you could watch it and laugh at it. That's the only thing. That's the only reason why I would watch it. Is just to laugh at it.
Hey, you forgot the power glove.
Exactly, but I did like how he died at the end, though, when she put the pipe bomb in his chest, said "Happy Birthday, Dad" or "Happy Father's Day" or something like that,
Kids.
and he blows up.
Lame ass
It
death.
was actually cool. It was actually cool to see in 3D because I actually saw it in 3D in theaters when I was a kid.
Although, what the hell was the point? It's only in the last 20 minutes of the movie. But like I said, just throwing everything at the screen to see, oh, this will work, this will work, this will work, this will work. In the end, none of it really worked.
No. But still, like I said, I can laugh at it, though, when I watch it, at least.
Nice hearing from you, Carlos. Ha ha ha.
All right, what's yours?
23 is Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. The only thing about this movie that I like is its decent kills despite lack of blood, but mostly it's top-notch practical effects. Great effects, like a gnarly-ass gross transformation of a chick into a cockroach. Gross. Freddy getting his body back when he's resurrected by a dog pissing fire. That looks really cool. All the set designs and production value is really, really top-notch. And it is fun watching Robert Englund have the time of his life playing Freddy. He was top billed in this movie because they're just like, okay, yeah, people are here to see Freddy, so we're just going to give Rob top billing. And it's very obvious he's just having fun with Freddy in this movie. Outside of that, not a fan of this movie. It's got a boring, bland replacement in Tuesday Night from Patricia Arquette. She looks out of place and bored and lonely. And the rest of the characters are annoying, stereotypical, and flat as a plateau. The dialogue is cringy and shitty. The kills are censored to all hell. The story is kind of all over the place. It lacks a through line, and it's also kind of draggy. It's just meh. I'm really just not a big fan of this movie. Again, great effects and fun Robert Englund performance as Freddy, but other than that, Nightmare on Elm Street 4, not the best movie. You're 21.
Friday the 13th, Part 1.
Okay. Damn.
Yeah, I mean, I know this is the beginning of the saga, the beginning of my favorite franchise out of all the horror movies from Saw. Well, Hellraiser, I think, would be tied with Friday the 13th of my favorite horror movie franchise. But anyways, yeah, this is the beginning of it and everything. But seriously, there's this. I don't know how to put it. I couldn't really get into it. It was first time I saw it. It was kind of boring for me to watch.
It's dull.
And yeah, and then like Pamela Voorhees as a killer at the end of it. It was kind of like, I didn't know that until later on because I started watching it from Part 6. I never watched it from earlier movies until later on. And then it was years later after watching Scream that I found out that it was Jason's mother that was actually the killer in the first one.
That's how a lot of people found out, apparently.
Yeah, but because I never watched the first one until after Scream Part 1. Because something told me, a lot of people said, oh, the first one isn't that good, and they were right.
Nope.
Yeah, so that's my 21. Or no, yeah, 21.
My number 22 is the Nightmare on Elm Street 2010 remake. It's an extremely mixed bag. There are some things in this movie that are absolutely awful. But there are some things in this movie that are a lot better than most people give it credit for. The dream sequences are done with good taste. It certainly is dark and a lot more, or at least it's trying to be scary and serious. Jackie Earle Haley is really good as Freddy. Honestly, Jackie Earle Haley's Freddy is the best thing about the film because if you get into the bad, there's plenty of bad stuff to find because one of the biggest problems with this movie, the acting and characters are pretty fucking lifeless. Rooney Mara has the exact same expression on her face throughout the entire movie. That's it. The music is generic horror movie music. You hear the Nightmare on Elm Street theme maybe twice throughout the entire film. The characters are not only lifeless, but they're boring and bland. There's way too much reliance on copying the original movie, like the body bag in the hallway, girl flying above the bed, Freddy coming out of the wall, which the CGI for that looks like utter garbage, and of course Freddy's glove coming out of the bathtub. Yeah, the remake is a gigantic mixed bag. There are things to like about it, but then there's also others that is just insufferable to sit through.
All right. Number 20 for me is Friday the 13th, Part 5.
I knew it! Because... Oh, no, mine's a little further down. Never mind. Continue.
Yeah, this is a horrible movie. I remember my girlfriend got a lot of shit one time on Instagram because she referred to Part 5 Jason as Skinny Jason. Because, yeah, he was like the skinniest Jason.
He is skinny. Why would you give
also,
shit?
I know, and I told her, tell them to fuck off because it's not like he was actually the real Jason in that movie. This is one of the reasons why it's so low on my list because this Jason is the imposter. He's some dude pretending to be Jason because his son he never talked to that never knew about him got killed by some douchebag. So he decides to kill all the kids at the center where his son was at, his long-lost son, like some father he was. Wants to take revenge for his son that he probably never paid child support for. They don't really explain much in the story either about where he was during this whole time his son's been in and out of these homes like this. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some of the kills were cool. I will give it that and everything.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah. And also, Tommy. Yeah, I didn't like this Tommy Doyle in this movie. Yeah.
I guess he was an asshole.
Yeah, even though I kind of liked it, the acting was okay and everything, and the fact that he's someone who's suffering from these nightmares during the day he's seeing Jason and everything. I kind of like that aspect. But no, this Jason movie was horrible because it wasn't the real Jason. Horrible backstory to this fake Jason. It's the shits.
My number 21 is Halloween 3. This isn't a bad movie by any means, but it can't help but be the black sheep of the Halloween franchise. And yes, we are aware this was the filmmakers trying to spin the Halloween series off into an anthology series, not just a straight up slasher series. We all know, but in the end, and even though that it was heavily marketed as being not a Michael Myers movie, but just another movie to take place on Halloween, for some reason, the public just chose to ignore that fact and just bitch about Michael Myers not being present. But really, if you get past the fact that Michael Myers is not in this movie, I don't think it's a great movie by any means. It certainly is original, and it does feel like a sincere effort made by the filmmakers to try to make something different and scary. It's got some bitchin' ass John Carpenter synth music. Um, the kills in this movie are strange, but they also are original and pretty gnarly. And it does have a pretty empty and ambiguous, bleak ending that does feel very much like a John Carpenter ending. Um, Again, I don't think it's a bad movie, but it's also not one of my favorites. It's just competent. Next.
For me, number 19, Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers.
Both cuts or one cut?
Yes, both cuts, honestly. I know this is like the last film featuring Donald Pleasance and everything, but yeah, I just... Oh boy, where do I begin with this? This is supposed to follow Halloween 5, but it really doesn't say what the hell happened to Jamie or Michael for the past God knows how many years.
6.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, 6 years and everything. And it's not even really Danielle Harris this time. It's Renata Ryder, who gets killed by Michael Myers as Jamie after having a baby. Oh, God. It's...
Uncle Dad.
Yeah. Also, what was it? Yeah, the whole baby thing, too. I think that's kind of what a little annoyed me a little bit about this movie. The cult, everything about it kind of was just pretty bad, honestly. And its ending. Why did they end it this way? I don't know.
The producer's cut ending is worse because that literally just stops Michael with a bunch of stones on the floor.
Yeah. Both endings were trash, but yeah. Also, George Wilbur is a colossal prick.
Is he?
The guy who played as Michael Myers. Yeah, I met him. I actually got him to sign one of my Michael Myers masks, but he's a prick. And by the way, George, if you're watching this somehow, if your dick is long enough, stick in your ass and go fuck yourself.
Alrighty then. My number 20 is Halloween 5, one of the most revered of the entire Halloween series. I can see why. There's a lot of things in this movie that don't work, similar to Nightmare on Elm Street 2010. There are things about this movie to like, but there's a lot of it that is bad. The writing and story feels very make it up as you go along. The characters suffer from Last Jedi syndrome, where a lot of them feel they're just regressing, especially with Danielle Harris. This movie starts the trend of killing off beloved female characters from previous Halloween movies in the first 10 minutes, which went on until you almost could say Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Well, no. Yes and no, but that's not the point. Again, kind of censored and neutered kills. A terrible looking Michael Myers mask, a nonsensical story, lots of this is a big stepping stones movie where there's so much shit that's planted for future movies. They're just like, oh, we'll figure this out in the sequel, or we'll figure this out in the sequel. But it's got a good music score. It's got a great opening. Despite his shitty mask, Michael Myers is a total juggernaut in this movie. When Danielle Harris does get her voice back, you do start caring about her a lot more than you did for the rest of the film. And mostly its third act is pretty entertaining. Its ending totally makes the movie crumble to pieces. And overall, yeah, Halloween 5 is a mess. This is I agree with Dr. Wolfula that in the context of the franchise, Halloween 5 was when the wheels of the Halloween series were starting to come off. And also, above all else, one of the worst things that can plague a sequel is if it feels rushed, and this movie does. After the success of Part 4, Part 5 was rushed into theaters the very next year, like 10 months later, and it shows. So go ahead. You're number 18.
Number 18, A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. Oh boy.
You almost made me do a spit take all over my camera.
I should have waited till you finished drinking that one.
Why is it so low?
Because this, to me, is the beginning of the comedy Freddy, the cheesy one-liners. Especially when she kills that one chick and says, "This is your big premiere. Welcome to prime time, bitch."
Yeah, but it's funny.
But also another thing is, a lot of the characters that I liked in this movie ended up dying, and that one colossal douchebag, TK, I think it was, the big guy,
Kincaid,
yes, see, he lived. I was hoping he would have been one dying from this movie instead of him living, because he was a douchebag. Honestly, he was an unlikable douchebag, and then that's why I didn't like it.
Damn, this is a first. This
a lot
is
of the characters I did like ended up dying.
This is the first time I've ever heard of someone talk shit about Nightmare 3. Wow.
Yeah. I mean,
first
I still like the movie for the most part and everything, but still, I hated how certain characters that I liked died, and he lived. That's the reason why it's so low on my list. I did like the songs at the end, though.
Oh, by Dokken?
That was awesome. Yep.
Alrighty, that's original. My number 19 is the original Halloween 2 from 1981. This really, especially with the Halloween series, but just of all three of these franchises overall, this is just the most middle of the road, forgettable. It's not a bad movie by any means. And actually, in some ways, it is way better than its predecessor. But just still, overall, it's the most forgettable movie. For some reason, people love to bitch about the fact that this ups the gore and ups the body count. How is this a problem? It's just because the first movie is so highly regarded and beloved that anything else that just copies what else is successful makes it bad. Like, no, it makes it more entertaining. There's like 10 kills in this movie. There's not a whole lot of blood, but at least the kills are pretty gnarly. A claw hammer to the skull, a needle to the temple, a throat slit with a scalpel, a scalpel being stabbed into someone's spine and being lifted up high in the air. This movie does have some decent kills. It has a creepy hospital atmosphere, although it does miserably underutilize Laurie Strode, literally having maybe 48 seconds worth of dialogue in this entire movie.
That's pretty horrible.
The original Halloween 2, again, not a bad movie. It's a decent sequel. It's just the most middle of the road and the most forgettable of all three of these franchises. Moving on.
So that's kind of a horrible misuse of your protagonist. It's only had like 48 seconds of dialogue.
Yep. And she spends like 80% of her screen time in this movie laying on her back, looking bored.
I could make a joke out of that one, but it's too easy.
Yeah.
Anyways, for me, number 17, Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
Really?
Yeah. I honestly feel like Freddy's Dead should have been the end of it. I can understand why they wanted to do this and everything. I just didn't like the concept. I didn't like the whole thing where it's now the actors and actresses really playing themselves, and Freddy's entering into our actual world, and also possessing the main character's kid. To me, it kind of annoyed me. It was annoying to me in a lot of ways. It was still pretty good. Some of the kills were pretty good and everything, but I don't know. Just didn't care for it.
Okay. All right. My number 18 is Friday the 13th, Part 5. Aside from its bad twist, which just raises nearly an infinite amount of questions more than it answers, looking past that twist, this is not a bad movie. It's really not. If you want a Friday the 13th movie, you can very easily watch this. Especially since this being a slasher movie, having a large cast, that means a high body count. And I actually think that's what makes Friday the 13th Part 5 kind of one of the most entertaining of the Paramount era. There's a shit ton of kills in this movie. Granted, yes, a lot of them are the killer hand, zoom in, MPAA censored kills, but they're still entertaining. The characters are wacky and goofy and annoying as fuck, but it's very satisfying when they get killed. Also, the guy who plays Tommy is terrible. He's boring and dull and speaks maybe 3 times the entire film. And they were really trying to seem like, oh, maybe Tommy will be the next killer. Maybe Tommy will be the next Jason Voorhees. Similar to something they would do in Halloween 4, which never came to be. But still, Friday the 13th Part 5, aside from Tommy and its bad twist, this is not a bad movie at all. Moving on.
Okay, for me, number 16, Jason Goes to Hell.
Okay.
I mean, the movie starts off where Jason gets trapped and killed, which that kind of pissed me off right there. Jason gets blown to hell, and then the doctor eats Jason's heart, and now it's basically this whole movie is Jason possessing different people until the very end where this thing comes out of whichever person Jason possessed at the time, and then goes into, I don't know, one of the Voorhees families. I don't know if that was supposed to be a sister.
The sister. The half-sister. The dead half-sister.
Half-sister. Exactly. And that's how Jason comes back to life. And basically this should have been the end of the Friday the 13th franchise here. Instead of doing Jason X, they should have ended it here and then gave us Jason versus Freddy, because that's what a lot of fans were wanting for a long time. And then they wanted it even more after this movie.
Hey, there you go. You're catching up.
Yeah.
So let me do mine. Okay. So my number 17, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge. Again, not a bad movie. At least I don't think it is. Now, yes, it kind of is the black sheep of the Nightmare on Elm Street series. It's gay as fuck, which sticks out like a sore thumb, to the point where it's just hilarious. But it does have a lot of good things going for it, and also it trying to switch gears and turn more into a possession slash haunted house movie rather than a fantasy horror slasher is jarring. But you do get a mean ass Freddy out of this movie. You do have a decent body count, despite the cringy towel snapping and ass kill.
Yeah.
You do have a creepy and mean and suspenseful atmosphere going on. And overall, this movie is fairly dark. So you can look at this as an Elseworlds type story, like a what if Freddy Krueger was more like an evil spirit rather than a dream demon. And I think the movie does work, and I think it is entertaining and slightly underrated. But not one of my favorites. Go ahead.
All right. For me, my number 15, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Part 4.
Alrighty.
The beginning, yeah. This was kind of like one of the things that annoyed me with this movie is, what's her name's character? Not Patricia Arquette, was it Patricia Arquette?
Patricia Arquette, yeah.
Yeah, her character, when she finally dies, she gives her power to the new main character, Alice. Alice, you need my power!
Oh, yeah, Tuesday Night should stay as a singer rather than an actress.
Yeah. And then, oh, God. Well, I did like the fact that Kincaid finally died I think he was the first one to die, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was. Yep, and then Joey, and then Patricia Arquette finally dies in this one. Now Alice is the new protagonist. And what really annoyed me with this is after each people died, she started becoming getting more traits from them. Like when her brother died, she started all of a sudden knowing how to do martial arts. Really?
And transform into a dude between takes.
Yeah.
With a terrible wig. My God.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, real quick, there's a lot of scenes in this movie when Alice is inheriting Rick's powers. Whenever she starts swinging around that pair of nunchucks, whenever it's a back shot, it was a man wearing a terrible wig. And then there's a scene when Alice is supposed to be climbing out of a window like Rick. It was a man wearing a wig. What the fuck? It's an obvious dude. What the fuck?
I didn't like when Rick died either. Like when they had this funeral and he comes out of his coffin like, "Hello, baby." And really, what was the point of that part right there? Why did you put that in the movie?
To be goofy.
This was, yeah. Whoever thought of that idea needs to get slapped in the back of the head. Idiot.
My number 16 is the original Nightmare on Elm Street. This isn't a bad movie. It's well made. It's original. It's spooky. It's suspenseful. It is entertaining. But it's just not my favorite. It is a good film. It's just not one of my favorites. And it is lacking Freddy. Freddy has 7 minutes of screen time in a 91-minute movie. Not enough. But still, good movie. And now, from here on out for me, these top 15 are all movies that I do enjoy. So strap yourselves in, guys. There's some controversial picks. But guess what? I don't care. Moving on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, these are more of the movies that are more enjoyable than the bottom
Shit.
ones that we talked about. Yeah. Anyways, for me, number 14, Friday the 13th, Part 2. Because this is a movie that brought Jason Voorhees to the big screen. Even though I'm not a big fan of the burlap sack, one-eyed Jason, and everything, I did like some of the kills in this movie. I did like how it started out, where the character from the first movie opens the refrigerator to see Pamela Voorhees' head that she severed from the first movie in the refrigerator, scaring the shit out of her, and then Jason coming out to kill her to get revenge for his mother. Some of the concepts I liked for the movie, like when the protagonist for this one puts on Jason's mother's shirt and tries to pretend to be Jason's mother, thinking that she could convince him, but then he finds out, no, that's not my mother.
If only she had a boomstick.
I know it. But no, its ending was pretty good. I enjoyed Friday the 13th Part 2 because, like I said, this is what brought Jason to the big screen. This is what brought us Jason Voorhees.
Okay, fair enough. My number 15 is Halloween H2o. This is a pretty damn solid movie, despite the fact that it does have some glaring problems. It's very tame. It doesn't have a big body count. All the mask problems that they had with Michael Myers are cringy and plain as day, especially with the CGI mask. Woof. Now, while people love to say that this movie rips off Scream, I don't think that's necessarily fully true. I do think it probably was inspired by Scream, but that's because Scream was such a big hit and Hollywood was like, oh, now it's fun to or it's fine to do horror movies again. So let's just, be inspired by Scream. But I really wouldn't necessarily say that's a problem, because at least for this time, the oh fuck, I lost track of what I was saying. God damn it, I'm getting too many texts.
I hate when that happens.
Oh yeah, so at least for this moment in time, everybody was trying to fire off on all cylinders and try to actually fix the mess that the Halloween franchise had become. It's only a shame that at that very same time, too, they were writing legal clauses for themselves that would back themselves into a corner and shoot their own foot off. If I was to ever review the Halloween series again, have to get into that more. But yeah, H2O is an entertaining movie. If you want to watch this movie for Jamie Lee Curtis, you will not be disappointed. She gives a very solid, very entertaining, very gripping, and well done performance. She beats the living shit out of Michael. It's not scary, but it is very entertaining and very well done. Despite the fact also, this could almost be like a 50-50 movie for me, because as much good as this movie does, there's quite a lot of things that annoy me too. This movie is short as fuck. This almost looks like a made-for-TV movie at times as well. But still, H2O is an entertaining movie. It's well made. It's well done. Overall, H2O is a fun time. Not scary at all, but entertaining. 13.
For me, number 13 is Halloween Part 2 Original. The original Halloween Part 2.
Okay.
This one was good. I enjoyed it because it picks off where the first one leaves off. It starts from where the first one left off. And Michael is now following Laurie Strode to the hospital to finish what he started in the first movie, which is to go after her. Although, like you said, the fact that Laurie Strode is the protagonist, she only gets 48 seconds of dialogue
Lame.
in the movie.
Wearing a cheap wig.
Still it's not that bad compared to other movies I've seen that have done worse than have your protagonist have very little dialogue. Because there's still some solid kills in the movie. Definitely the creepy hospital atmosphere helps it as well. I think the movie aged pretty well. I like the ending to the movie.
Oh yeah, definitely Michael's most definitive death.
Exactly. So it's an enjoyable film at the end of the day.
All right. So my number 14, Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. The sole problem with this movie is the fact that it is so painfully obvious it was censored to hell. My God. The MPA, this is... No, that's still Part 8. But Part 8 and Part 7, it's almost interchangeable how badly these movies are censored by the MPAA. But Part 7 makes up for it because it's at least entertaining as hell. And it introduces Kane Hodder as Jason Voorhees, debatably giving his best performance as Jason. Jason X, he's pretty awesome in too. He's sorely underutilized in Jason Goes to Hell. But yeah, Kane Hodder is awesome as Jason in this movie. Despite the fact that they're censored as fuck, the kills still are entertaining to watch. And the final 20 minutes, of course, is entertaining as all living shit, where the director describes it as Carrie versus the Terminator. Love it. Friday the 13th, Part 7. Just also, you could also say this movie is pretty damn gay as well, because at least 6 of its main cast were gay as fuck. Leading to the fact that this one is often referred to as Fry Gay the 13th.
Oh, dear God.
But yeah, Part 7 is a fun flick. Moving on.
Oh, yeah. For me, Part 12, or number 12, is Friday the 13th, Part 8.
Damn, dude.
I can actually enjoy this film to a degree. Some of it is pretty cheesy, I will admit to it. But that's part of its charm, though. It is some of the cheesiness to it. Kane Hodder definitely is awesome Jason in this movie. Some of the kills were good, I thought. I wish that he would have took more of Manhattan than he did, because he didn't really do a whole lot in Manhattan. I was hoping for some more kills, but I did like some of the kills when he did in Manhattan, like when he punched a dude's head off.
Yes, because everybody talks about that, because it's really the only kill that's interesting. Doesn't save the movie.
Puts it in the cop car and comes after the cop. Or he kills those 2 bums.
That too.
I love how he did that with a needle. So, yeah. Still a pretty good movie. Even though some people don't like it, like you, I still kind of enjoyed it.
My number 13 is Halloween Resurrection. Let me get this out of the way. The first 10 minutes of this movie is the worst of the entire franchise.
Yes.
Going past that, yes, it's a generic early 2000s slasher movie ripping off Scream and Blair Witch Project. But it is entertaining.
And Night Trap.
It is entertaining. Michael is like the Hulk in this movie. He's mean, he's brutal, he's sadistic. He's just a total walking tank in this film. Some gnarly ass kills, some damn good gore, some funny lines. Some some decent suspense, some creepy music. I like Halloween Resurrection. Oh, and of course, Busta Rhymes beating the ever-living shit out of Michael is stupid and cringy, but it's funny. And what's wrong with making you laugh? Yes, Resurrection.
Do something.
Yes, Resurrection is a bad movie. I can't help it, though. I enjoy it. So fuck off. Moving on.
Okay, number 11. A Nightmare on Elm Street, the original, part 1.
Okay.
This is the beginning of the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, really. It definitely had a creepy atmosphere to it. Robert Englund as Freddy. This is what really introduced us to Robert Englund, to a lot of horror movie fans, to Robert Englund, because I don't know how many people really knew who he was until Nightmare on Elm Street.
I don't know.
Yeah. And even though Robert Englund doesn't really get a whole lot of scenes in this movie and everything, but that's okay. That's part of the movie's charm.
Well, he leaves a lasting impact, sure, but still, a little bit more Freddy screen time would have been nice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the same thing with Jason, though. It's kind of like a treat when you finally got Jason, and Jason Goes to Hell. It's like, oh, finally, here's what we've been waiting for. Because you didn't get a whole lot of Jason in that movie.
True.
And same thing with Freddy. It's like, oh, this is what we're waiting for. And it kind of keeps that mystique to him, though. That was the whole point, is to try and have a little mystique to Freddy in the first movie, which worked.
Okay.
Too
enough.
much, Freddy would have kind of ruined it, I think. Would have took away his mystique.
Ahem. Freddy's dead. Ahem.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't mind, actually, I'm gonna I want us to go into our top 10s together, so I'm gonna talk about my 12 and 11.
All right.
So just hold off. My number 12, Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday. This is not a bad movie. This is a damn entertaining as fuck. Maybe not as a slasher movie. It has slasher elements to it, sure. But damn it, this movie is so entertaining. Thank fucking God the MPAA fucked the fuck off for this movie, because I've got to say, in my opinion, aside from Freddy versus Jason, this is the most violent, cruel, over-the-top, brutal, gnarly, goriest Friday the 13th movie of the entire series. There are some awesome, gnarly ass kills in this movie. Yes, it's weird. Yes, it's balls to the wall. Yes, it's over the top. Yes, it's wacky. But guess what, guys? It's different. Especially marathoning these movies. The first 8 fucking movies being the same. 8 movies in a row. This movie comes along, and my God, is it a breath of fresh air. Yes, there's an underutilization of Jason, but honestly, I really didn't care. Great kills, an interesting story. It turns Jason into a Deadite from Evil Dead. All we're missing is somebody with a boomstick. And yes, gory ass kills, fantastic creature effects. People love to shit on this movie, but you know what? I don't get it. Everybody loves to say, oh, the franchise needs to go back to its roots. The Nightmare on Elm Street, or the Friday the 13th series needs to go back to its roots. Simple story, just fun characters, good kills, creative kills, and going back to the woods. That's all we ask for. Guys, that's boring. If you want that, watch the first 8 movies. This one does something different. And yes, it's different, but that's why it's great. Fuck off, all you haters. Jason Goes to Hell is a fun fucking flick. And my number 11 is Jason X. Yes, it's stupid. Yes, it looks like
Very
a sci.
stupid.
Yes, it looks like a Sci-Fi Channel movie, despite the gore. Yes, it looks cheap. Yes, it's dumb. Yes, it's ridiculous. But it's fun. It's got some great kills, a decent sci-fi setting. Yes, the characters are bland and cheesy as fuck, but at least they're not annoying. Well, they are annoying. And almost, I just said they're kind of boring, but yes, they're annoying, but they're kind of hilariously annoying. Especially the guys, it's okay. Just want his machete back. That's a line in this movie. It's like, who thought this was good? Yes, it's cheesy. Yes, it's stupid as fuck. But you know what? It's Jason in space. And it delivers. Because once again, there's some gnarly ass kills in this movie. It's not quite as gory as Jason Goes to Hell, but there are some good moments of blood. What the hell are you swinging around?
And some of the cheese selfie stick, but some of the kills or some of the scenes were kind of enjoyable, even though they're cheesy.
Yeah,
like when they put him in that Camp Crystal Lake simulator.
That's funny.
Pot or drink some beer.
Have premarital sex. Then just cut to him. We love premarital sex, and then just cut to Jason just whacking the fuck out of this one other chick with the goddamn. Everybody loves the sleeping bag kill due to the resurfaced footage from Part 7. I still have always preferred Jason X's version because it's funny as fuck.
It is.
Jason X is an enjoyable movie. It's dumb, yes, but it's fun. So who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
And now, with all that being said, we're entering top 10 territory. Even more controversial for myself, and probably even more conventional for Jeff. Although Nightmare on Elm Street 3 being number 18 certainly is mind-blowing. You can go first.
Yeah.
You're number 10.
Halloween Kills.
Okay.
Be
brief.
Keep a little bit of. Yeah, I have to be brief because you haven't seen it yet. But one of my problems with this is there's certain plot holes in this movie. Also, the fact that Michael Myers seems to be a little bit invincible in this film. Also, the ending. No, I did not like the ending to this film at all. I really hope that there's going to be a Halloween Ends, right? Please let this be the end of this goddamn movie.
Oh, it won't. It won't be.
I kind of feel like John Carpenter is becoming more and more like George A. Romero towards the end, where it's like he was making good zombie films. He started off good with Land of the Dead, but then he really went downhill with the other two. And that's what's kind of, I feel like, with Halloween Kills in a way. But, I mean, it's still an enjoyable film. At the end of the day, some of the kills were great, very violent. But I still enjoy this a lot better than the Rob Zombie remake, too. But, yeah, the ending for me, I didn't like. And the fact that Michael Myers seems to be invincible in this one.
My number 10 is Wes Craven's New Nightmare. The only problems that I have with this film, it is very light on kills. I'd actually say these have some of the most boring kills of the whole series, right up there with Nightmare on Elm Street 5. But outside of that, it reimagines Freddy in a new, fresh, scarier coat of paint. Except for his hat. It's just a little too fresh and green. He's darker and meaner and scarier. it has a great, creepy, somber, doomy atmosphere. Heather Langenkamp gives a phenomenal performance as herself, but also as Nancy in this film. It's very meta. It's pretty much like prototype Scream. It's meta for like, whereas Scream is meta for the entire slasher genre as a whole, Wes Craven's New Nightmare is meta for the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise and fan base as a whole. And you can tell that Wes Craven is having a lot of fun poking fun at it, but also subtly saying, that's not how you do it. This is how you do it. Yeah, light on kills and light on Freddy screen time, but his presence is felt throughout a good chunk of the film. It's really the characters and the dream sequence at the very end with Heather versus Freddy that make this movie as enjoyable as it is. Wes Craven's New Nightmare is an awesome flick. You're number 9.
A Nightmare on Elm Street remake. I know this may surprise some people because a lot of people had the shit on this film, but I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was good, to be honest. I thought that they showed a lot of respect to its original source material, which is something you don't really see in a lot of remakes, where a lot of remakes, you just see them shit on the original source material and give the fans a giant middle finger. I liked Freddy Krueger in this one. He was more scary and creepy. He wasn't the cheesy comedy Freddy like we saw with Robert Englund that kind of later on ruined Freddy in a lot of ways with the cheesiness. But I mean, it still made it enjoyable and everything. But no, I like the more serious, darker Freddy in this film. I liked its story and how it explained what had happened to Freddy. With the kids in the preschool, or I think, yeah, it was a preschool.
Yeah.
Explain their backstory and how they all knew Freddy, how they were connected to him. Yeah. I thought it was very well thought of. They actually put some thought into this movie. And I liked how when she was doing research on this, other people dying in their sleep, and then they showed that one vlogger kid, he was talking about his dreams and everything. I thought his acting was pretty good.
All right, fair enough. My number 9 is Friday the 13th, Part 6. Jason Lives. Fun, entertaining ass flick. Probably, honestly, no, it's not. But this is definitely the most fun of the Paramount era. The director of this movie was like, you know what? It's Part 6. Fuck it. Jason's the main focus. Let's just make it as fun and entertaining as possible. It lacks gore, which is a shame. But aside from that, this is one fun, entertaining ass flick. Fun characters. What's the main actor's name? Guy from Return of the Living Dead. What the hell's his name?
Oh, God.
Tom.
I know who you're talking about. He was in Joanna Man.
Oh, crap. I can't remember his name. God, I wish Lord Hellhound was here. I can't remember his name. Now, he's definitely the best Tommy. He's the best Tommy, in my opinion. He's actually like the...
Oh, no, I know who you're talking about now. Yeah. Because, there was another character that was in Friday the 13th that was also in Return of the Living Dead. But that one was in Part 5.
Yeah, the black guy.
Part 6. Sorry, I got it confused. Sorry.
Yeah, this guy is the best guy to play Tommy, in my opinion. He's the most charismatic, the most entertaining, and the best acted. Despite the lack of gore, great kills, lots of fun, and with a touch of humor. And Jason being played by C.J. Graham, right?
Yep.
Some of the most badass Jason personality ever put out on screen. Again, though, with a slight touch of humor. And a bitchin' ass soundtrack. This movie is just a blast.
Oh, yeah.
Jason Lives is a butt-fuck ton of fun, in my opinion. Go ahead.
Okay, for me, number 8, Halloween 4.
Wait. Hang on. So's mine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my number 8 is also Halloween 4. Great film. Great sequel.
Yeah. Yeah, this was the first one to star George Wilbur as Michael Myers. And once again, George Wilbur is a colossal prick. But despite that, I still enjoyed this movie for the most part. I like Danielle Harris as Jamie. This is what introduced her.
She's a sweetheart.
The movie genre. Oh yeah, she's nice. I like her. George is a prick. She is awesome. Just gonna point that one out. I like the kills in this one. I liked how it ends, where the whole town basically goes vigilante justice on his ass and shoots him up to hell. When you think, okay, this is the end, he's dead, and then she's wearing the same costume as Michael Myers, and then she stabs her foster mother.
Yeah, foster mom.
Or something like that. And Dr. Loomis goes crazy. This should have been the end of it. Once again,
even though part 5 totally kind of ignores that.
Exactly. That's one of the reasons why I didn't like part 5 too. It ignores the ending of part 4, and it's like there's no real consistency with these movies in the Halloween saga. I'm sorry, but there really isn't. I think that's why I'm not a big fan of the Halloween movies.
Well, despite the fact that Halloween 4 is pretty damn similar to the original Halloween, part 4 kicks ass. Great kills, great gore, really great autumn feel. Like, it looks cold, it looks dreary, and it looks like it's wet. Great atmosphere, great opening scene, great soundtrack. Michael Myers is badass and intimidating as fuck in this film. Donald Pleasance gives probably his best performance as Dr. Loomis in his entire run on Halloween. Yeah, this movie kicks ass. I love it. Your number 7?
Halloween Water, or Halloween H2o.
All right.
I call this one, like, I don't know why they wanted to call it Halloween H2o. Seriously. Like, they should have just called it Halloween 7 or
Halloween, the return of Laurie Strode.
Yeah, instead of Halloween H2o, which I know stands for Halloween 20 years. But seriously, that's what fans call it, Halloween Water, because that's what H2O is, water. Anyways, I like this one where it brings back Laurie Strode. It starts off where he goes to the house of a nurse that had been taking care of Dr. Loomis towards the last years of his life. Michael breaks into her house to get information on where Laurie Strode could be and kills the nurse and kills some 2 teenagers who she asked to look into her house for her, and then they stole some beer or something like that. But yeah. And then you find out about it has the cops investigating the crime scene and everything. But then Michael Myers goes to where Laurie Strode is, who's now changed her name, and is a school teacher, and is raising a son, which just introduces us to the only guy who could actually pull off the bowl cut and get laid, Josh Hartnett.
Yep. Good actor.
Oh, yeah. Now he actually quit acting and is living in, like, the UK or something.
Did he really?
That. Yeah, he quit acting and he moved out to he left the country. Lucky bastard.
I know, right? Damn.
I know, but yeah, I liked his character in this film, and that's actually kind of an honor to have your first film be being co-starring with Jamie Lee Curtis. Also, you see Jamie Lee Curtis's mother in this film as well.
Janet Leigh for like 10 seconds.
Yep. But no, that's kind of cool though to see a mother and daughter do a film together, even if like the mother is only in it for a few seconds or so, and they're in a scene together. So that's kind of cool there. But yeah, I like this film. The kills were good. To be honest, I kind of wish that this would have been the end of the Halloween saga, especially with the way that it ended, where how Michael Myers, or you thought was Michael Myers, gets his head cut off.
His second most definitive death of the whole series.
Yes, this should have been the end of it. This would have been the best way to end the film, the whole saga. But no, someone wanted to do another one.
All right, my number 7 is Friday the 13th Part 3, 3D. 3D gimmick aside being stupid, this is my favorite of the Paramount, technically, the 80s Paramount kind of gives it away. The 80s Paramount era Friday the 13th. I love the shit out of this movie. It's very entertaining. It has a good production value. I think this just had a really talented and fun crew working on this movie. Decent characters, great kills despite some dated effects, and a great third act that makes the movie, which admittedly is a bit slow, but I just dig it because I like the characters. The third act is really when this movie truly shines, as well as, was it Richard Brooker? Yeah, I think Richard Brooker as Jason makes this movie very fun and entertaining to watch. Part 3 kicks ass. Your number 6?
All right. For me, number 6 is Friday the 13th, Part 4, the not-so-final chapter. I'm going to start using that from now on. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
But no, I like this film. This was definitely... I like how one of the characters in the film was basically the brother of... I forgot who his brother he was. Who his sister was. I know she was like one of the characters in the first film. Or was it the first or second?
Third.
Okay, yeah. Well, no, so I like how they brought him into the... he was trying to hunt Jason and everything, even though he ends up getting killed by Jason.
He's killing me! He's killing me! Was that trying to be scary or funny? Because it's definitely ain't scary.
No. I like a lot of the kills in the one. Where's the corkscrew?
Stab! Whack! That's a good one.
I love how Teddy got killed as well. And Teddy getting killed as well. That was awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. Especially because Teddy was a prick.
Yes.
See, that's the one thing I liked in the film, is the fact that all the people you wanted to die actually died. Unlike a lot of other horror movies where it's like, why is this asshole still alive? Really?
Yep.
Why do you have to live through this? Also, it teaches you one thing too. If you are a hitchhiking, don't
You're
eat a
screwed.
banana. Anyone got killed in these kind of movies. That's one thing I like about the Friday the 13th movies. You wore too much makeup. Sexually active teens or machete magnets. What else was there? Pretty much anything can get you killed in a horror movie.
My number 6 is Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. I've said a lot about this movie, so I'll just be brief. Fun fucking movie. The best balance between comedy and horror. Some of the best effects, some of the best kills, the best story, the best cast of characters. Yes, they all die except Patricia Arquette and Kincaid and Joey. All the really fun ones die. Nancy dies. But outside of that, Part 3 is a total blast. Bitchin' soundtrack by Dokken, of course.
Oh, yeah. I play that almost every day on my iPhone.
Yeah. Dream Warriors is an awesome, kick-ass fucking movie. and is easily my favorite solo Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Number 5.
For me, number 5, Friday the 13th, Part 3.
Ooh, nice. Oh, yeah, top 5
movie
territory. Now it's going to get really controversial.
Yep. So, yeah, this is the movie that brought us the Jason mask.
Yep.
And gave us the golden rule. If you are the class clown practical joker in any horror movie, you
die.
must go. You gotta go.
That
Goodbye.
too.
Sheldon was... He
Shelly.
was so annoying. Shelly, yeah. I don't know why I call him Sheldon, but yeah, Shelly was annoying. That was a payoff when he finally got to go. But he was the one that gave Jason this mask, when you think about it, though. But I loved it. I loved a lot of the deaths in this film. I love the fact that this is the film that gave us the hockey mask to begin with. I love the fact that the protagonist actually had a previous experience with Jason.
Even though it's not really explained, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But she survived him once before, and she survived him again.
And beat his ass.
Yep. And managed to live through it all. Yep. So yeah, Friday the 13th, Part 3. Enjoyable film in my opinion.
My number 5, the 2009 Friday the 13th remake. Don't give a fuck what anybody says. Right back at you there, boy. I love this movie, damn it. It's fun. Great fucking kills. Annoying characters, and it's a cathartic as fuck to see them get killed off. A slick, polished production value. A badass Derek Mears Jason Voorhees being like Hillbilly Rambo up in this bitch. Fantastic kills, great gore. I love this movie. Bullshit, painful sequel tease ending and annoying Alien vs. Predator Requiem solo origin movie levels of dark lighting aside, Friday the 13th 09 is a butt-fuck ton of fun for myself. Fuck off.
Horrible movie.
I love it.
Horrible movie. Number 4. Friday the 13th, Part 7. Or, as you call it, The Terminator versus Carrie. And I can see that, honestly, now. But I really like this movie because it introduced Kane Hodder as Jason. This is what brought Kane Hodder to the dance as Jason Voorhees. That made him come back for 3 more movies. Which he also should have came back for Freddy versus Jason, but I don't know why they decided to cast...
I think it was a studio thing.
Yeah. Studio sucks.
They can.
One. But yeah, anyways, Kane Hodder as Jason, really, honestly, and I love this design for Jason, his costume.
Oh, yeah.
That was awesome.
Probably honestly. The best looking Jason of the whole series.
Exactly. Also, I like the protagonist in this film and her backstory. I know this was originally supposed to be Freddy versus Jason, but unfortunately, they couldn't come up with an agreement
that didn't come to be.
Yeah. So instead, they made this one, which still gave us a good Jason movie at the end of the day, which I wholeheartedly enjoy because obviously it's in my number 4 in my top 5.
My number 4 is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Fuck all y'all for hating on this. Right back at you too, boy. And fuck the Halloween fan base for hating on this movie. Shut your whore mouths, sit in your angry masturbation corners, and shut the fuck up. This is a fucking awesome ass Halloween movie. Great, dark, dreary, overcast, cold, fall atmosphere. Fantastic performances by fantastic characters. A great character study.
His horrible wife, who cannot act to save her life.
No, she can't act. The white horse thing is stupid. Laurie becomes too obnoxious and bitchy to like. But phenomenal performance. Oh, and Dr. Loomis is a total piece of garbage. But phenomenal performances nonetheless. Great writing, great dialogue, and gnarly, mean, brutal ass kills in this movie. Fantastic gore, fantastic kills, great violence. Michael Myers is a total juggernaut in this movie. Man, is it fun to watch. Halloween 2 by Rob Zombie is such a goddamn unsung masterpiece. Fuck all of you haters. Shut it. You're number 3.
Freddy versus Jason. I know a lot of people are shocked in this one. I know a lot of people like to shit on this one, but I liked it. I enjoy Freddy versus Jason at the end of the day because it was something that I wanted for a long time, that a lot of horror movie fans wanted for a long time.
And boy, does it deliver.
I love the soundtrack. Yeah, I love the soundtrack. I love the action. I love the kills to this film. The only thing that I really did not like was the chick who played as Laurie. Her acting was an abomination. I mean, I don't know who's worse,
Wait,
her or Rob
Freddy
Zombie's
died by fire,
wife.
Jason by water. How can we use that? Oh
God! Or not to mention that.
If you see that acting, immediately comes to mind is because someone erased it from the archive memory. If you know that line, you know really bad child acting.
Yeah. Or remember the one part where, no, Freddy killed my mother. My father was trying to cover it up. I'm not going to leave here until I watch him die. I'm just like,
which I'm pretty sure is becoming a meme.
Yeah. That was her acting. Who did she blow to get that role? She obviously had to have blown someone. She could not have got that on her own from her own acting. She had to have been sleeping with someone. I don't think, has she been in anything else after Freddy vs. Jason?
She was in the remake of Night of the Demons, but other than that, I think she just went back to modeling.
Oh dear, she should have just stick to modeling. Oh my god, her acting is so atrocious. I mean, that was what really kind of ruined the movie for me. But despite her god awful acting, I still enjoy the movie. I still like this movie. Whether it's the original ending that is a deleted scene, or whether it's the ending that we get from the movie. I mean, Freddy and Jason really messed each other up the way they fought, especially. I mean, Freddy was slicing at Jason.
I think Freddy gets more fucked up in the end.
I think it's like even, honestly.
Freddy lands more hits on Jason, but Jason inflicts the more serious injuries.
Yeah, he definitely hits. Even though he doesn't hit as much, he hits harder.
Yeah.
Especially when he grabbed Jason and walked him through the thing and then threw him, tossed him like a rag doll.
My number 3, Rob Zombie's Halloween. Fuck all of you haters. I hate the Halloween fan base. Fuck you too. I love this movie, damn it. I don't have anything, well, sans the extremely unnecessary rape scene. I love this movie. Fuck off. Great Michael Myers. Great origin story. Fantastic kills. Great gore. Fantastic musical score. A better Dr. Loomis, in my opinion. I love this.
Until he becomes a colossal prick in part 2.
Until he becomes a dick in part 2, yes. But in the first movie, he's phenomenal. Fuck all you haters. Rob Zombie's Halloween is absolutely amazing.
Oh god, I actually saw 3 different versions of this film. There was actually, before Halloween came out in theaters, there was one that leaked, and I forgot what website it was on or something like that. But a friend of mine at the time, he actually sent me a link, and I downloaded it. and watched a leaked version of Halloween that wasn't the original Halloween, but it wasn't the one that came out in theaters, but it had the rape scene and how Michael got out. And I really hated that scene. I was just like, oh God, this is fucking stupid. And it got worse and worse. And then we saw it in theaters, which they cut out that rape scene, and I forgot how he got out in the theatrical
He's
version.
being transported via guards, one of them being played by Bill Moseley, and he hulks out and kills them all.
Yeah, and then he kills Danny Trejo in that one too, in the
Sadly.
theatrical version. Yeah, that was a messed up kill. I think that's one of the reasons why I didn't like it either. Rob Zombie's wife in it once again. Like I wonder, has she been in anything that he has not directed?
No.
Yeah, exactly. I already know she's gonna fuck up Lilith Monster for me in the Monster remake. She's gonna, because I've already seen pictures of her as Lilith Monster. Show the It's gonna be horrible.
Moving on.
Anyways, for me, number 2, Halloween 2018.
So's mine.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah, this one I liked, even though they kind of retconned all the other Halloween movies before that one.
Who cares? It was a mess.
That's why I liked it, though, is because it kind of was like, okay, these other movies were inconsistent after part 2, so we're going to retcon this shit, and we're going to go with something new here. So at least I like this one. It was good. The kill scenes were great. Honestly, I feel like this should have been the end of it, though, especially with how it ends, where Michael is stuck in a burning house. This should have been the end of it. But no, John Carpenter wants to do a trilogy and be like George A. Romero, where he starts off good, but it's going to end bad.
Halloween 2018 is a phenomenal-ass movie. One of my favorite horror films of all time. One of my favorite memories that I have tied to my wife. One of my favorite movie theater experiences. One of my favorite films overall. I fucking love Halloween 2018. James Jude Courtney is phenomenal as Michael Myers. Fantastic kills, great cast, great suspense, bitchin' ass music. Again, John Carpenter, he knows how to make music. 2018 is a fucking masterpiece. But we still have one to go.
For me, my number 1 is Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. This is always going to be my favorite movie as when it pertains to these 3. And even out of the Friday the 13th franchise, Part 6 is always going to be my favorite. And then when it comes to all 3 of the sagas that we just talked about, Part 6 is still going to be my favorite because this was the very first movie that I ever remember seeing. And when it comes to out of these 3 movies, this has a lot of memories for me. Also, C.J. Graham as Jason.
Badass.
Even though he only played Jason one time, and Kane Hodder played it 3 times or 4 times. Yeah, 4 times. C.J. Graham is the best Jason out of all of them. Out of every single person who played Jason, C.J. Graham is the best. He was my personal favorite, especially with the kills that he did. Like I said, I feel like he incorporated a lot of his Marine Corps training because before becoming a stuntman and doing Jason, he was actually an actual Marine. And yeah, so I feel like he incorporated some of his Marine Corps training into this version of Jason. I kind of like the Frankenstein aspect of how they brought Jason back to life.
Very reminiscent of a classic Universal horror movie.
Yep. So yeah, this one was great. Honestly, I feel like this was the best out of all the Friday the 13th movies. I liked the mask, the way it looked. I liked how Jason got his knife set and his machete from killing that one dude.
Yeah.
Especially like my favorite kill is the camp, not the camper, but yeah, the motorhome. can't kill. Where the guy's driving off in the and he's just coming up from behind, and then the camper just flips over, or he crushed that one chick's skull in there too. That was awesome.
Then it catches fire. Then he stands on top of it like a badass motherfucker.
Yep. I liked its ending. I also liked the original ending to it, which would have been cool if they would have done it that way. Even though, yes, the grave digger guy, he would have still been alive and everything. What's funny about the groundskeeper for the cemetery, he actually looked like my Uncle John.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's funny. It seems to be like because he was married to my grandma's sister, so that would be like he would be like my great uncle.
Great uncle, yes.
Yeah, he looked like my great uncle John, the grave digger guy, the groundskeeper for the cemetery. Actually, looked like my Uncle John, or my great Uncle John.
My number one is still Freddy versus Jason. I've talked about this movie ad nauseum. It's the best of both worlds. It's the best of all three. Even though Halloween is probably my favorite franchise overall of all three of these, Freddy vs. Jason is still my favorite of all these movies combined. It's better than all previous 30 of these movies rolled into one. The best effects, the best kills, the best action, the best music, the best direction, the best acting, aside from Laurie, the best story, the best effects, the best kills, the best Jason, the best Freddy. Everything about this movie is just the best. I fucking love this movie to death. It's one of my favorite films of all time. Hang on. I just love this movie. It's a goddamn shame that two things. One, this movie never got a sequel. And two,
agreed.
It's such a damn shame that all of these crossover ideas that fans have, Freddy versus Pennywise, Chucky versus Leprechaun, Jason versus Michael, Jason versus Leatherface, none of these damn studios can pull their heads out of their ass and be willing to split all profits 50-50. You know what? 50% of something is better than what all of these ideas are making now, which is nothing.
They just don't want to do it, though.
Pussies.
Well, also another problem is the fact that each studio is going to want their character to come out on top. That's the hardest thing, is coming to an agreement of which character is going to come out on top.
Well, if Godzilla versus Kong can get made twice, I think we can get some more crossover films out. Make it happen, people. Yeah. So with all that being said, one of my lifelong dreams has been accomplished. Man, was that a mouthful. Happy Halloween, Jacksonites. Go out and watch some scary-ass movies. You got anything to plug?
You can check out my YouTube channel, Bakersfield Self-Perfection, Self-Preservation, where right now, lately, I've just been documenting my whole recovery from my ACL injury, because if you've been following me, you know that I actually tore my ACL in my right knee.
Ouch.
And next month, I'm going to have to tell the orthopedic, because I've been going back and forth with doctors and orthopedics and stuff like that. And it's up to me if I want to have the surgery or not. And right now it's looking towards I'm going to have to get surgery done on to replace my ACL in my right knee.
Fun.
But I'm going to make a recovery from that and get back into doing martial arts again. And I'm looking forward to this whole road to recovery, honestly, even though it's going to be hell for me. Because the physical therapy I went through when I first tore my ACL, it was hell.
No doubt.
Some of the exercises. because I actually lost a lot of strength in my right leg after I tore that ACL. And some of the exercises, even though there was no weight put on my ankle, it actually felt like I was trying to lift 100 pounds with my leg.
Most probably, yeah.
Yeah, so ACL tears are no joke.
Well, go and follow his journey to recovery. Post your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Hit the like button and hit the subscribe button and share this video with your friends. Look forward to next time, to the return of an old friend. And I will see you guys in the next video. Now go out and watch some horror movies as long as you have a good old boomstick. And I will see you guys in the next video.